Welcome back to another edition of Te Akau TV. Obviously a very busy week gone past with a very exciting weekend upcoming, obviously with Group 1 racing back upon us, as well as the Horse of the Year awards, but we'll just first touch on the week that's been with a few winners there. Mikey, we kicked off on Friday with Brazen Affair on the synthetic bed.
Yeah, it was good to get the weekend off to a good start with a horse that's shown a lot of potential, so it's nice to get a win for those patient group rovers.
And then we headed off down to Riccarton, a couple of really nice winners there, especially Belle de Monde. Really good to see her kick off her spring campaign on a winning note, just pipping the stablemate there, Cool as a Rain. We overall had a really good day down there at Riccarton, some really nice runs, a lot of horses kicking off their spring campaigns on a really good surface, which I think is really key going forward. And then great to see Cognito back in the winner's circle. It's obviously been a long time between drinks for him, and he had a really good break following kissing spine surgery, and he's come back a different horse, and he should take some real confidence from that win there on Saturday, aided by a really good positive ride by Courtney. And hopefully he can go on with it now and target some nice races heading into Cup Week. So a really good week there last week for the team, and now looking to build from that, heading into the Group 1 meeting at Ellerslie this coming Saturday.
So as Sam mentioned, you got a pretty big team there at Ellerslie with 13 runners across the board, obviously highlighted by the Group 1 later in the day. We start off in race 3, the benchmark 65 mile with a top shelf, a lovely 7-bill mare that we got in the stable for the Fells. Went really good as a 3-year-old, pushed like Lucy at Te Rapa, which obviously turned out to be a very good horse there. Drawn wide in 16, so Sam McNabb will take the 3 kilos off there, so it'll be a bit tricky from their gate, but look to see her going well and continue on a bit later on.
Then we shift on to race 4. We've got Cool and Fast there, got a nice soft gate in barrier 3, resuming with Opie Bosson aboard. Really excited to see him back at the races. Obviously a very talented 2-year-old who's unfortunately had a few setbacks along the way. He's had a couple of really nice trials to prepare. He's also had a gallop up there at Ellerslie as well, and heads in really good order. Like I say, really excited to see him back at the races. From a soft gate, he should get a really lovely run in behind the speed there, hopefully. And with Opie aboard, confident he can run really well on his return, but expect to see sharp improvement deeper into the prep as well.
Moving along to race 5, the special conditions maiden over 1200. We have Carsolio, drawn 1 with Opie on top. It was a really good win there at Taupo a few weeks ago, again with Opie on board. Took luck out of the equation, went straight to the front, so it was good. It was a horse that we thought a bit of as a 2-year-old, so nice for him to come back and show a bit. It'll be a nice tough field, but hopefully again with Opie on top should be pretty competitive.
So then we head on to race 6, the first of the black type races there at Ellerslie. The listed Sir Colin Meads Trophy, the 3-year-old set weights race over 1200 metres. 2 really nice horses kicking off their campaigns. He Who Dares, drawn 1 with Craig Grills aboard. First off, he's trialled twice there nicely leading in. He's had a good slow build up into Saturday's race, I should say. Drawn barrier 1's going to be key. He should put himself really positively in the race. He should be in the first sort of 4 or 5 there. He's drawn to get a lovely run in behind the speed, and confident he's going to give it a really good shake. He's very forward in the coat, absolutely bouncing around the pace here. Had a gallop at Ellerslie on last Thursday, worked really nicely and worked well again this week as well. So goes in fantastic order. And then our other runner, Hostility, got a little bit of a sticky barrier, but Opie aboard. The blinkers go on. He's a very laid-back customer here at home and in all his work, and we just think those blinkers are going to sharpen him up, especially first up over 1200. The gate is a little bit of a worry, certainly hoping we can get midfield somewhere with a bit of cover, and if he does get the right run, confident he'll go very close to winning. He's a horse we've always really liked, with a lot of ability, and he's forward enough to go a really strong race there on Saturday. So 2 really good chances to kick off the black type assignments.
Move along to the Group 3 Gold Trail Stakes, a 3-year-old fillies over 1200 metres. We have 2 horses in there. Start off with In Haste, the TAB Racing Club. She will actually wear the daffodil colours, supporting the Cancer Society, which is a foundation that we support a lot. So she had a nice fresh up win there at Taupo a few weeks back with Opie on top. She'll strike some of those horses that she'll meet again on Saturday. So again, drawn a little bit sticky, but hopefully with Opie on top, she should be right there in the finish. Also, Queen's Evidence with Joe Doyle on top, drawn barrier 3. She had her 2-year-old campaign down south where she had a nice win there first up. So confident, she's had a couple of nice trials. So again, confident she should feature well in the finish.
On to race 8, where we've got another couple of runners there. So we've got El Viento, unfortunately drawn the car park at barrier 18 with Joe Doyle aboard. It will certainly need a lot of luck from there. He more than likely get back in running over the 1300, which certainly does make it hard, but he should be flashing home late, and certainly expect improvement from him deeper into the prep, second and third up. He hadn't had a lot of luck last time around, but confident we've ironed out those barrier manners and look to see him flashing home at big odds. And Age of Discovery down the bottom, just sweating on a scratching for him, barrier 9. He'll take really good improvement from his fresh up run there at Ruakaka. The step up to 1300 certainly suits, as well as the application of blinkers. His work in blinkers this week on the course property here at Matamata was top notch. So if he is to get a run, confident he's another really strong each way chance with the right run. So that shifts us on to the main race of the card, the Group 1 weight for age 1400 Brassiere Plate. Obviously really excited to see these 2 mares step out. Unfortunately not a lot of luck in terms of barrier draws for either of them. We've got Qualia Farasha drawn 11 and Quintessa drawn 16, so we'll just start with Quintessa. Obviously we're going to need a lot of luck from that gate, especially over the 1400. More than likely because of that, see her in the back half of the field. But certainly pleased to have Rory Hutchings over from Australia to ride her. We think he's going to really suit her, and obviously back from an Australian campaign there last season where she actually won first up in the Cochrane Stakes. So hoping we can repeat that dose and win fresh up there on Saturday. But like I say, he's going to need a lot of luck, but goes in really good form. Just the one trial there at Te Rapa, but did gallop nicely there at Ellerslie last week. So certainly looking forward to seeing her back at the races, as well as Qualia Farasha with Opie aboard, drawn at 11. More than likely will look to be positive on her. She does have good barrier speed. She's very bright, fresh and well to run a cheeky race over 1400, which is probably short of her best. But like I say, she's very well, bouncing around the place. Trialled twice really nicely and goes in fit and well, and certainly deserves her chance. So a very even field, but 2 nice each way chances with a bit of luck.
So in the last race of the day, we had 2 chances in there. First of all, Balance of Power with Sam McNabb on claiming the 3. Has had a couple of nice trials and had a really consistent preparation last time. So a bit short of his distance, but look to him finishing off well and looking on for later on. Also, I'm a Dirty Rascal, a horse that we got over from Australia. Again, just hasn't quite found his mark here in New Zealand so far, but look to him put a right step forward on Saturday. Again, looking for a bit further, but looking forward to starting his campaign off.
So a huge team across the card there at Ellerslie with a lot of depth. A really tough day's racing with very even fields, and hopefully, we can have a little bit of luck somewhere along the line. But a really nice team of runners, and really looking forward to the day. So we've also got a southern meeting down there on Sunday at Timaru with 2 runners, and we kick off in race 1 with a really nice Schnitzel filly, Origin of Love, with Opie down to ride. A very even field. There's a couple of quite talented gallopers there from their 2-year-old preparations that are looking to take that next step to 3-year-old, whereas we're kicking our filly off on debut. So it's going to be a really interesting race. She's a filly that's taken a little bit of time to work things out, and has been a little bit of a handful here at home at times, but slowly the penny's starting to drop with her, and Hunter and the team are really pleased with how she's settled in the South Island there, so excited for her to kick off her racing debut, and hopefully she can run well, and then we can look to build from Sunday into a sort of a 1,000 guineas prep following that, but be confident she's fit and well and can run well there on Sunday.
Our other runner down there on Timaru on Sunday is Elegant Lady, again with Opie on top, drawn well enough, a distance that's probably short of her best, but she could probably run a cheeky race, so look to her to finishing off and moving on down later in the preparation.
So plenty of tangerine interest across both islands here in New Zealand. Mikey, the best bet or one to follow for the punters?
Yeah, I didn't do too well my best bet last week, so I'll go with Quali Alpharesh as a horse to follow. Again, distance that's probably short of her best, and a very competitive Group 1, but once we get over the mile and a bit further, look to hopefully get the elusive Group 1 next to her name.
Again, like you, not a lot of luck on the best bet last week, just both picked. Horse to follow, I think Hostility. I think he's probably a little bit vulnerable tomorrow over the 1200 from his barrier, but certainly a horse we can follow throughout the preparation. And one for punters, I think $1 each way, Quintessa. I think she's flying since she's come back from Australia. She's going in to Saturday in really good order. She's paying 30 or 40 odd dollars, and she's a class mare, and I'm confident she, with obviously a bit of luck from barrier 16, she can put her best foot forward there on Saturday. But it's not just happening here in New Zealand. Ben's here to tell us what's happening over the Tasman with our Group 1 winning 2-year-old Lada Rada taking on the Aussies in Group 1.
We're just here with Lada Rada at the moment, ahead of a big week for the team. We've had a pretty exciting week. It started last Saturday with Damask Rose kicking off in the Cockram, in which she was probably the run of the race, or run of the day I should say. She flashed home with the fastest 6 and 400 of the day, and she was certainly the eye catcher heading towards the Rupert Clark. So going to be a really exciting race to look forward to, the Rupert Clark with Sepples and her, two standout performers on the day, and she's pulled up fantastic. She's just here next door eating her food. We couldn't be happy with Damask Rose. We then went to Benalla on Tuesday, where we had an exciting filly for John Camilleri, who's become a great supporter of the stable, and she won on debut, a filly called Chateau Ez. Lovely Frankel filly, bred in the purple, and she bolted on debut. So she's hopefully an exciting filly for the spring ahead, and hopefully she can head towards 1,000 guineas if all goes to plan. And then we had a nice colt run yesterday who ran okay. Brafo, but he'll be a horse for the autumn. We'll be gelding him shortly and bringing him back for hopefully a crack at one of the derbies, whether it be Sydney, Adelaide or Brisbane. But yeah, it's an exciting week ahead.
Looking forward to Saturday. We have Lada Rada racing. Luke Cartwright's first Group 1. Can you touch on that for us, please?
Yeah, very exciting. Luke Cartwright, who we've supported since early days. He rode a winner for us, Savoy Fair, back on the eve of Imperatrice winning the Champion Sprint. So that's nearly going back 2 years ago now, when he was claiming 3 kilos in the provincials, and now he's arguably the most promising young rider in Australia. So although he's an apprentice, he certainly deserves his crack at Group 1 level. And he came in during the week, galloped Lada Rada on Monday, rode her in slow work last week. So he's putting in the hard yards to get to know the filly, and he certainly liked what he felt. And, albeit it's a barrier 11, a tricky barrier, we're just going to ride her patiently with cover and give her every chance to hit the line strongly. There's plenty of speed in the race. The inside 4 gates are all sort of on-pace horses and speed horses, so we can only hope they go lickety split, and this girl can be flashing home late with 50 kilos on her back and setting herself up for a big spring. But if she can be running sort of top 4, top 5, we'll be thrilled, and that'll have her on track for the second up assignment, where she will most likely go to Scarborough Stakes, which we won last year with Bellatrix Star. If she happened to win the Moya, we might have to rethink things, but we'd love to think that we continue to shape her into potentially 1,000 guineas filly as well, given the fact she won a Group 1 over 1,400, and she's bred by Super Seth, who eats up a mile. So hopefully she can start with a positive run like the Mask Rose, and we'll be on for a big spring ahead.
Moving on from Saturday, we have a couple of good chances on Sunday. Can you touch on those as well, please?
Yeah, we've got a nice support card, you'd say, for the weekend ahead. We head tomorrow actually to Mornington, where we've got a filly called Kiwi Raider. She is owned by Aussie Kier and a group of his clients, which is exciting. She's won both her jump outs this preparation, the last one in impressive fashion. And she's drawn a nice gate from barrier 5. She can be quite a keen filly, so we're going to try and ride her to take a sit, but on speed ideally, and hopefully she can be there on the corner and show some class. Would have liked a bit of rain around, but it does come up a good 4, so that'll be the only query. She has been winning her jump outs on quite rain affected going, so that'll be a slight question mark, but we expect her to be a filly to show promise throughout the spring. And then we head to Sunday, hopefully a Group 1 win in between Friday and Sunday. So we've got Torriness going to Barnsdale. She's in a 1,000 metre maiden there, and look, she was okay, perhaps a little bit below average first up for us, but coat's finally shedding. She's starting to glow all over. Her gallop's been good during the week. We've been popping her over some hurdles, and it's really sparked her mind, and we think that she's in impeccable order really as she heads to Barnsdale. And for barrier 2, she should get a lovely run in the race, and hoping to have our first winner for Don's Racing, so also great support as a stable. And then we'll head up the road to Bendigo, where we've got a filly for Tony Otterborough called Jezebel Jenny. Lovely filly by Cool as a Veal, who of course Jacko trained. And look, she showed really good promise at her last jump out. Jamie Carr, been in the saddle both times. She galloped the early days and really liked her, had a good opinion, and that second jump out really impressed us, where she sat wide and kept finding. So it'll be a really competitive race on Sunday. We'll certainly know we've got a nice filly if she was to win it, but we're hoping to go there, give her a good experience, and if she can be fighting at the finish, we know we've got a promising filly. She'll probably step out in trip to 1,200, 1,400, maybe even a mile. But yeah, she's a lovely filly for Tony Otterborough, and hopefully we can get off to a winning start with him, just like we did with John Camilleri. And then there's a couple of nice runners to come next week. Seven Oceans, who's a promising filly, for Mark Salby, and Cincherado for OTI, who showed promise on debut. So really nice group of young 3-year-olds, and hopefully this filly will fly the banner for us.